first one out the way real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Fuck no. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Going Over podcast. It is I, your neighborhood-friendly coach, trainer, promoter, and 44-year-old professional wrestler, Zack Primetime Reeb. And I'm joined, that's right, we got three today. I'm joined alongside my podcast partner, as always, the 7-foot wrecking ball, the man who I witnessed it personally in Winnemucca has to pull his dick out the bottom of his shorts to pee in the bathroom. Paul Isadora, the wrecking ball, and we are joined today by, ladies and gentlemen, this popped up. I think this is episode 168. Am I correct, Paul?
No. 6'7", bud. 6'7".
6'7", ladies and gentlemen. And as it popped up and it started spinning and I got the old coffee made, I saw a man that I've met many times before in Cauliflower Alley in Las Vegas, and a man that I watch all of his shticks on the internet, and they are great. Ladies and gentlemen, Dom Vitalli. Yeah. No.
Thank you.
Wait. There we are. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for reaching out, and thanks for letting me be on the program. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to having some fun with you guys, so it should be good.
Paul,
it should be a blast. I feel like we've crossed paths. I know at SPW for sure. I remember you guys probably tagging against Adam and Luster or something along those lines, and so, but. Yeah, I mean, we watch your content, and we are just on the same page so much, which is crazy because it's realistic that you're running a wrestling school. You're trying to get people to be better at pro wrestling, using your experience to share your knowledge. I believe we've actually had one of your students come to one of our shows, if I'm not mistaken. And was super entertaining if I remember correctly. So, but it was just like, it's always funny because the circle of wrestlers is always like somebody's going to send you their stuff. Hey, I'm trying to get booked at your promotion, whatever it is. And my question, Zack isn't a big fan of this, but my question is always, who trained you? How long you've been working? Like just, I always think it's basic resume questions, trying to get a feel for these people. I always want someone to send me a match. Like, obviously, I'd like it to be a recent match. Don't send me something that's 5 years old. Send me something that isn't 25 minutes long, something where I can go, hey, can you work? Will you fit in with what we're doing? Can I use you in some way? Are fans going to watch you walk out of the curtain and go, who's this guy? Like, do you have a presence? Like, there's certain things that I'm interested in, and always people will go drop names of people that they were trained by. So it's always great when, it's someone that I'm familiar with that I could reach out to and go, hey, tell me about this person. And 100 times out of 100, it's great when someone goes, yeah, I trained that guy. He's great. You should use him. All those things. And it's always fun to reach out to somebody that you trust and go, hey, tell me about this guy, and for them to give you some positive feedback. But inevitably, it's they drop someone's name, and it's, oh, I went to a seminar where this guy was also. You didn't necessarily deal with this person one-on-one. They didn't give you any individual feedback. And most of the time, if they did give you some individual feedback, you completely ignored it because you already know better. So, but kind of getting back to your content and, you're picking apart things that you don't like about the business. We do kind of the same, but it's all in the same effort of getting people to be better at what they're doing. Take it seriously, get in good shape, get a character, sell, like all the basic stuff that we look at and go, hey, these are the basics that you need to have if you want to be a pro wrestler. You tend to talk about things like that we go, just shake our head. Yep. Yep. So
yeah, it's a universal language, man. And I think I agree with, pretty much everything you just said there, Paul. And I think the wrestling world, the good thing about it is like if someone sends me something, I may not ever know who they are. But if I know generally where they're from, I've been around long enough where I know somebody pretty much everywhere, and I can reach out to that person and say, hey, do you know this guy? Whether they're claiming them or not. And usually that kind of gives me a good idea because it's people I trust that I will reach out to and say, hey, have you ever heard of this guy? Like, what's his deal? And 9.5 times out of 10, those people are usually right with their feedback. Like, hey, like he's legit, like all good, or stay the fuck away from that guy, And my big thing is when I'm looking for talent, like all those things are important. Like, are you marketable? Are you actually trained? Like, do you have a good look to you? All that stuff. Honestly, like the first thing I look for, and I think I might have covered this like recently in one of my videos, is like, are you a dumb motherfucker? Because if you are, like, you're gonna make my life so fucking miserable, man. And I don't have the capacity for that. So like I judge people on how they even reach out to me. Like if it's just like an assumptive like email, like, hey bro, and I fucking never met you, it's like, dude, come on, man. Put some effort in. Or if it's like obviously like a template, like how many fucking people are you sending that to? Like I get dozens of those. So what should make you stand out? Why should I pay attention to what you're asking? And then you get the ones where there's like no pictures in them at all. Hey, if somebody send you shit, like you probably should have done that on the front end, so it was both some time. But yeah, it's what I like to do too is like, and I'm sure this is probably the case for you guys. Like, I don't want to give anyone more of a reason to make fun of what we do, because we get enough fucking bullshit from people that make fun of. They hear you're a wrestler, oh, you do that fake shit, and it's like, well, no, they do that fake shit. Like my shit's legit, and what I do is legit, and the way I train is legit, and my shows are legit, and it's hard for the legitimacy to stand out amongst all the bullshit that's out there, because like regular people, what's on their explore page? It's the guy shoving a light tube up their ass and stuff like that. It's not the 5-star match or like the well-run show. Unfortunately, that's just the case. So it's like this constant uphill battle that we're fighting, and what I'm trying to do is like negate all of that as much as I possibly can. And I think part of that is like calling out like what's missing or what's bad and saying like, no, it shouldn't be this way. It's not this way everywhere, and it doesn't have to be. As long as you have some standards, like we could be doing something really well with this. And if you don't have standards or low standards, that's when people like us kind of suffer and we get lumped into all the other bullshit.
Well, we talk about it, Dom, all the time. It starts with the training, man. And it's one thing that absolutely blows my fucking mind is like, you could be Barry fucking Bonds making millions of dollars, millions. And what do you do when you get there? You stretch out, you grab your glove, you find somebody else, and even the pros warm their arms up. They get in there 2 hours before. Basketball, they take some shots, do the 3-man weave and some layups. And it just baffles me when I go to all these schools. There are two things, and I want to get your opinion on this specifically, and excuse me, more from you. I just came to. Number one, why are we not warming up with lockups? Why are we not waltzing and collar and elbow tie up, pushing the guy into the corner, getting our weight on him, pushing out, circling around, and doing that for 10 minutes to get some fucking sweat? That's the first thing that we do in professional wrestling. Stretch out, lock up for 10 minutes, keep it tight, get everybody in there, stay close. Mm-hmm. I just truly can't understand why people don't do that. And number two, and I want to go through this today with you. People just don't. I am so sick of hearing the formula. Shine, cut off, get some heat. It's like everyone keeps calling it a fucking cutoff, and it's not called a cutoff. You can cut somebody off for a second. It's called a stop. You're stopping this guy. He's not getting up, because whatever you did to him when you stopped him, I don't care if it's he bounced his head off the mat, it's his neck, it could be his nose, his eye, it could be a million different things. He was just frustrating you and out wrestling you, and desperation kicked in, and we stopped you. And my question for you on the stop is, Is everybody afraid to sell nowadays? Do you think that the wrestlers nowadays, we always debate this. I know the answer. I just want to get what your opinion is. Do you think wrestlers with the formula, and do you think they're afraid to sell nowadays? You think it makes them look bad? My pride's, I can't sell for you.
Well, you're not going viral with a fucking gift by selling, and that's the problem. Most wrestlers wrestle for the internet, and they don't understand how important selling actually is. And I tell my trainees, I go, you're a babyface. Like, your selling is the equivalent of you giving heat as a heel. Like, and it's not the stuff. Unfortunately, like, selling doesn't get you. It gets you noticed by the right people. It doesn't get you noticed by the wrong people. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, one of the best compliments I ever got as a wrestler was from Kevin Sullivan because of my selling. He didn't give a fuck what moves I was doing in that fucking match. My job was to get fucked up that match, and he was ringside for it. And he goes, "Holy shit, hell of a job selling. You made the heels look like monsters." And that to me was an eye-opening. Not that I didn't know that before and how important selling was, but I was like, oh shit! Like, even with everything that he's fucking seen in his entire life, like, that's still the stuff that stands out to a guy like him, and it stands out to someone like me too, because your job as the babyface is to essentially make the heel look like he could fuck anybody up in that crowd. And he's fucking you up. So you better make it look that way. And, I think people they get, you can always see, like, especially new guys, the wheels turning, right? Especially if they're on offense or not. They're playing through the 50 fucking things that they called beforehand. And that's, try to pull them out of that too, is like, trying to reinvent the wheel. It's like, guess what? You don't have to call everything beforehand. And everything will be fine if you're trained in the basic fundamentals of wrestling, which goes back, to your first point. Getting in the ring and training, like, I haven't been to all that many schools since mine opened, but I've had a few here and there, and like, it's like, well, what do we want to work on tonight? And it's, to me, that's a fucking crazy question to ask in training, because your trainer should be telling you, this is what we're working on tonight. It shouldn't be left up to the fucking the dumb kids, if they are fucking stupid most of the time. It should be left up to them, and there's an opportunity to work on those things that you specifically want to. But warming up with, like, the basic fundamentals is the perfect comparison that you made. Ball players go out there and play catch. Basketball players shoot around. Well, if we're going to training, why the fuck are we going into spots already? Or let's call a match. It's like, no, motherfucker, this is the stuff you need to know and continue to work on forever. Because if you have solid fundamentals, I tell my guys this all the time, if you have basic fundamentals and you're clean and crisp on them all, you can wrestle anybody, anywhere, any style, whether you have to call something ahead of time or not. That's the foundation of what we do. Everything that we do is built upon that foundation. And if you have that skill set down pat, you can build that house any way you want, much, much easier.
Yes, sir. What you got,
Zach? I'm expecting you to jump in with the ballet routines that we saw at the one show, and then I want you to talk about the Sergio Santana when he sent you his footage.
Well, that's was the question right there. And what am I looking for? Yeah, I want to, just like Dom said, this circle is so tight. I've been doing this since '99. So in April, I'll be going on 28 years. I'm getting old. I'm sure we all are. I know your age, Paul. I've known you a long time, and I met you, Dom, a long time ago. But when I look at this, we're going to ask people, right? And they're going to say, yeah, I fucking know that guy. Stay away from that fucking dude. He didn't finish his training, or, hey, if you need somebody to go through some fucking tacks. I've had guys ask me, hey, where do I put the thumbtacks and the barbed wire under the ring? I say, brother, you're going to have to ask somebody else, because I don't use that shit. You know what I mean? But like Sergio, I can't believe how long I've been taking, emails and stuff. And I don't give a fuck about their resume. I don't give a fuck who trained them. None of that. What I care about is, do you listen? Send me a 5 minutes or less of you getting your ass handed to you so I can see how you move around and sell, or send me 5 minutes or less of you putting heat on some asshole so I can see how you put the heat on some. I don't need to see back and forth. I don't need to see your 10, 15-minute classic. I don't care about your moves. I tell my students all the time, I'm going to show you how to take clothesline, back elbow. I'm going to show you how to take a back body drop, a hip toss, a body slam, a suplex, belly to back, just the basic fundamental bumps. And once you learn how to do your handspring bumps and your Beal bumps and your snap bumps and your high school boys, you go out there and you fucking do all this other, you do all this other shit on your own, man. Mm-hmm. If I'll watch when you want to learn a move, I'll be there and I'll be like, nah, right here, try this. But once I teach you the basic fundamental stuff of this, so just I am looking simply to see how you sell and how you deliver heat on what I'm going to do with you, because I don't know. I don't know who you are, because you have, sorry to say for the egos out there, but you have no value in my area to what I'm selling if you aren't on my show. If I don't get to take turnaround stock footage of you, if I don't get you in front of my audience in these 4 or 5 different towns, I can't promote you. And if I can't promote you and you're not willing to give me the stuff I need to promote you, then you hold zero, and I mean this 100%, you hold zero value to me financially. I'm not going to make my money back off of what I pay you. I've done people a lot of favors before, but that's because they're good workers, man. I want them to get in there with some of my talent that I think are going to represent the company well. But yeah, man, I'm just looking for, I'm not looking for, what is it? I'm not looking for loyalty. I'm looking for reliability, man. And I got to be able to trust you. I just got to be able to trust you. It has nothing to do with, can I trust you with my championship belt? Can I trust you that this money I've invested in this wrestling show? Because for some reason, people see the cash box and shit at the end of the night, even after they got paid, and they just start to scoot their little ass over to you some way because they think that you've made a fortune. And they don't realize, man, some of these buildings, with the buildings and the payroll and the insurance and the concession and the gas and the posters, flyers, tickets, labor, all this shit adds up. Sometimes it's $5-6 grand to run a show. Luckily, I run shows, so shows cover shows, and I have students, which is the best funding. But I always tell people, man, I'm looking for ticket sales, and if I got to fill the rest of the building some other way, that's okay, because I got a goddamn restaurant and the concession stand and people that run it and do inventory and students. Those are my three focuses on how you're going to get your company going, because sponsorships are good and sponsorships could save you sometime. But sometimes you don't have time to go out there, and not everybody's sponsoring. And number 2, merchandise. I'm going to be honest with you, unless you got a lot of money and a lot of time on your hands after all these years, I don't got time to do my own merchandise, man. I just don't. I don't have time to do the inventory. So sorry. Sometimes I go on a little rant. Paul sets me off, and it's okay. Dom, it's okay to go on a rant over here. And it's okay to boast, because I've seen recently some pictures of your show. And my question real quick before I let you go off is, how many nice lights above the ring, first off.
Thank you.
Beautiful touch. But how many people were at that fucking show?
So we have different kinds of shows. So we do a lot. Our main show, our spotlight show, I should say, no pun intended, is We run every other month at a regular venue. So we usually average about 500-600 people at those events. Every September, we run our anniversary event, which is usually at a bigger high school, and we do anywhere between like 1,500 to 2,000 people for that show. On the in-between months, we do something what we call Slam U. It's kind of like our student shows / fundraiser type shows / spot shows. I know it's a lot, but so like just recently on 4th of July, we have a partnership with the city of Mesa where we're based out of, and we do all their city events for them. So they brought us into their convention center on the 4th of July as a paid show, which is great. And the room, under normal circumstances, it's like 10 grand almost to like rent this room. It's a very sought after venue for concerts and, exhibitions and all kinds of stuff here in the Valley. And we had that room packed wall to wall with people, some diehard fans, some people that have never seen us before, but we had a chance to actually make some new fans that night. So my whole thing is like, let's get ourselves out there as much as we possibly can within the capacity of what we can actually do. I'm a big believer in growth, but I'm also a big believer in not growing too fast, because I've seen that happen in the past other places, both in wrestling and outside of wrestling, where somebody had something good and they got too big for their britches too fast and tried to outgrow themselves, and they were dead in the water, rather quickly.
Guilty over here.
I think we all are, because we tried to do that in the past too, and it didn't work. Good thing for us, I think our biggest strong suit though is we have a very good infrastructure. We have a solid training school with about between 30 and 40 students right now that run regularly, and they're the lifeblood of everything that we do. And I think we're not at the capacity we are without them and all the effort that they put in from all angles, not just like in ring. And it's a matter of giving them something to believe in, because, and I always tell these guys too, like I'm like, you motherfuckers are spoiled, man. Like if you're coming in this fucking school and you get your first match on one of our big shows in front of 500 or 600 people, fuck you. I had to wrestle in front of like fucking 20 people for like my first fucking couple of months, dude. I didn't wrestle in front of like 100 people until I was like fucking 5 years in. And I'm just like, sometimes you guys don't know, how good you have it. But it's also, an encouragement for them. I go, you got to get the fuck out of here, man. Like, don't stay here. Like, the goal is train, become fucking undeniable, help us grow our shit, but get the fuck out. Go other places, be seen by other people, wrestle different people, wrestle different styles, because as you guys know, you go around the country, there's different styles everywhere. Everywhere wrestles differently. And you gotta know how to do that. And you gotta figure out how to fucking get over in front of a crowd that's not your mom and your dad and your 16 cousins. And that's a big hurdle for some of them. They get, again, they're spoiled. They get comfortable in front of a familiar audience. And it's like, okay, go a couple states over and try to do the same shit and see if it works. Then they got to start thinking. Then, they realize they fall flat on their face and they go, oh shit, the same thing that works here in Arizona doesn't work in, SoCal or NorCal or Vegas or wherever. It's like, yeah, because you actually have to work at this. You actually have to try and put an effort to become better at this. When our wrestling school, whenever we get anybody new coming in, one of their first questions is like, well, how long does it take for me to do training? How long does the training take? And I'm like, it takes fucking as long as it takes. Everyone's different, as you guys, I'm sure, have seen over the years. Like, not one person doesn't learn the same way as anybody else, or at the same pace for that matter. So I always tell them, like, you're going to know where you are in your training, but you're not going to have that first match until I tell you, because you're not going to use my name or my training center's name or anything like that and put that behind you if you don't have my stamp of approval. Now, wherever you want to go after you get the thumbs up, that's up to you. You want to wrestle elsewhere in town, I don't give a fuck. If you want to wrestle, tell me to go fuck myself, cool. Like, I don't care, that's fine. But everyone that's gone through our training process, we've been open 7.5 years now. Everyone that's been through it, they've passed the final course, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. They're out there doing their thing, but they're all still here. They're all still doing their same thing, training regularly. Even our top guys and top girls training at least twice a week. Most of them more than that. And it's a matter of, one, they want to give back to what was given to them, and two, they want to help the next crop of guys and girls that are coming up. And 3, it's something that they helped build, and they want to continue to help building that even more. Every place has that, the home promotion type of thing, but I think a lot of our guys and girls really take pride in what they've helped, establish out here. It's so different than anything that's ever been out here. And again, it's just like a testament to them. And I tell them, like, wrestling hasn't had standards ever. And too many people, like some of the examples we talked about in the beginning of this conversation, like, oh, that's wrestling. No, the fuck it's not. It's not supposed to be that way. It's only that way. It's only shitty because people fucking allow it to be shitty and don't say anything or don't fucking do anything about it. And that's kind of like one of the reasons why I started doing all the videos and stuff like that. It's like, I'm not going to go out there and do a how-to video, like, no offense to anyone that does that, because I know there's some reputable places that do. But I got people that are paying me to help them learn how to become a professional wrestler. I feel it's a fucking slap in their face if I'm putting out on video the same shit I'm teaching them in my school. Why should anybody else get that for free when this person's paying me X amount of dollars to learn this? So I'm not going to give that away for free. So in my videos, I'm not giving the how-to. I'm trying to just look at it more from a practical standpoint, like the common sense shit that apparently isn't so fucking common in wrestling, but it should be. And sometimes, like, that's the stuff that doesn't get a light shine on it, and I think it does. And I get this message all the time. It's like, hey, man, thanks for saying something. And it's like, well, why don't you fucking say something? Like, I'm not the only one with a fucking internet connection on my phone. Like, you can do the same shit. But, they don't want to rock the boat and stuff like that. And again, me, I'm 44 years old, man. I've been wrestling since 2001. I'm pretty much done. I don't really wrestle anymore, hardly at all. What fucking bridge am I going to burn? I don't give a fuck. I'm not afraid of hurting somebody's feelings or someone not booking me. Which again is another thing I can go off of. Like, I think, and I will, because before I lose my train of thought, it's
keep going.
Like young kids are afraid to stand up for themselves and afraid of not being included or not going back. And it's like, listen, when you're new and you're green, yeah, like, you got to eat a little shit every once in a while. You got to pay your dues and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean you need to be treated like a piece of shit by somebody, no matter if you're a day in or 25 years in. Be a fucking man and stand up for yourself. And these guys, and my students are guilty of it. They're pushovers at times. And I try to instill this in them, like, be a professional until it's time to not be professional anymore. And, they're letting promoters take advantage of them and, like, fucking take months to fucking pay them and, like, not come through on the promises, not like the financial promises that they agreed to ahead of time. And it's a matter of them being afraid of those people saying, you're not allowed to come back here. And I tell them, what's the big fucking deal if you can't go back somewhere? Oh, what does that mean? You can't go to that booking with all your fucking friends? Now you got to work a little bit harder to go somewhere else and break in somewhere else? God forbid you fucking try that. And it just drives me fucking nuts. And it's this comfortability aspect. They're so accustomed to what all their buddies are doing, and they don't want to miss out on it. And they're losing the aspect of, at the end of the day, you're your own small business. And sometimes you have to treat yourself like such. And part of that is being a fucking man or a woman and standing up for what's right.
Absolutely. I have a couple questions that we've talked about in the past.
That's why I was keeping down, Paul.
I know.
It's your turn.
So yeah,
I'm dead.
The first question is, I mean, obviously you already said these people have it way too easy, right? They don't realize how good they've got it. How your students in your school, how far is the furthest that someone has to travel to come to your school?
As far as the students that we have currently?
Yeah.
So we have usually the longest anyone's driven is about an hour and a half to 2 hours, twice a week minimum. So we're in the Phoenix area, and we've had quite a few kids from Tucson, which is about an hour and a half drive. Some from a little bit up north, which can creep into the 2 hour range. But I try to refrain from that if I can, because historically speaking, the majority of those people that have to drive a far distance don't last. And I try to warn them ahead of time. I go, dude, like, it's not going to fucking work. Like, and especially if you look at them coming in and they're really nothing. you know when you see somebody, like, oh shit, this person has some fucking potential before they even step foot in the ring, just by looking at him. And then you see someone and you're like, all right, how long are we going to fucking do this for? You know? And if they're driving from that far, I try to talk them out of it. I really do. And I had a kid from Tucson who was a smaller guy. And I was like, all right, you know, and then we got him in the ring, and he, you know, I met him before, and I go, what's your background? And he's like, oh, I was a competitive dancer. And I'm like, okay, well, you're going to have some body control. That's pretty good. And this motherfucker picked everything up like that, dude. He's a natural. And he's one of my top guys on my roster right now. And he drove back and forth twice a week from Tucson for like 4 years straight. And he just recently moved here to Phoenix like a couple months ago. But he was hungry and he wanted it, and he worked his ass off. And, you know, those people are few and far between. I've had a couple people relocate from, I've had one relocate from New Mexico, one relocate from New Hampshire as well to train with us too. And they got through their training, and then, you know, they eventually moved back home to their respective areas. But you know, it's tough, man. You know, I know when I came up, I didn't know there was a wrestling school close to me. So before I even started wrestling school, I was like, okay, like, how do you become a wrestler? I heard the Wild Samoans have a school. You know, this is like internet infancy days. So like I'm from upstate New York originally. So I was making plans to figure out how to go to community college and go to wrestling school in Pennsylvania at the Wild Samoan School. And so by happenstance, I found out there was a local indie promotion that had a school 45 minutes from my house. So it all worked out well for me. But I was going to figure that shit out because I fucking wanted to do it no matter what. There was no, well, I might want to try it. It was like, no, I'm going to fucking figure out how to do it, and I'm going to do it until either they beat the fuck out of me and I leave and they don't let me back, or I'm going to ride this motherfucker till the wheels fall off. And apparently the wheels are still on. So I guess it's a good thing.
Right. So, I mean, I asked that question because I feel like I was spoiled that there just happened to be a wrestling school in Reno when I first broke in. And I was very naive to think like, you know, we would go to SPW in Sacramento. And I always thought, well, all of these guys must live in Sacramento. And then you come to find out these guys are traveling sometimes hours away to come to a wrestling school. So, you know, in most cases, it's like you're not going to have a wrestling school in your backyard. You know, it's a privilege to have that, and I think a lot of guys they don't take advantage of it. You know, you talk about people being spoiled with, you know, performing in front of 300 to 500 people on their first show, and you know we've, you know, sometimes go, oh, you know, is it even worth putting on a show? There's only 5 people out there. You know, but you're trying to get repetition, so you do it. But I feel like there's a lot of people that are very spoiled in that, like, oh, well, I don't want to drive an hour and 15 minutes to go to a wrestling school. That's too far. So I was just curious about, you know, how far people are traveling to go to your school. What's the next closest place that, let's say, people are coming from Tucson, where could they go?
That's what I was going to say. Like, so you're talking about being spoiled with something so close. I get people that live 45 minutes away. And there's another school, I think about 45 minutes away from where we are. And they go, well, I know you guys are like the best school and like have the best wrestlers, but this school's 10 minutes from me. What the fuck? Like, you got a chance to, again, not to toot my own fucking horn, but you got a chance to fucking to train with the New York Yankees, and you're gonna go fucking hang out with the single A ball club? Get the fuck out of here. That says more about that person than anything. Like, that's all I need to know about that person. You know, it's like, what can be like, again, and this is for any, I think, young wrestler or any, not even young wrestler, any wrestler, like, you want to fucking compete with the best to see if you can hang, if if you can become one of them, or at least become a peer. Like, no one's willingly going, well, I just want to be like the top guy over here, but I'm going to avoid all like the good shit over there. Like, you're a fucking pussy and you don't belong in wrestling. Plain and simple. You're a fucking coward. And wrestling, unfortunately, is full of fucking cowards and pussies, as we know. And like that just blows my mind when someone is scoffing at an extra 30 minutes in the fucking car. You know, just to be able to like have the best resources available to them to get to where they hopefully want to be someday. and I don't harp on that shit. When I hear, I'm like, whatever. Like it's a dodged bullet for me. And oh, it's cheaper. I'm like, good, fucking go there, because good work ain't cheap, and cheap work ain't, or what is the saying? Cheap work ain't good,
that
and
was
good
exactly
work
right,
ain't cheap.
man.
Like fucking go there. You're gonna get what you pay for, and they always do. And then then they come hemming and hawing that they want to just kind of slide in once they're trained, and I'm like, oh no, motherfucker. There's levels to this shit. Let's see how fucking trained you are. And usually it's not even like a matter of in-ring training. It's like, can you run the ropes for 2 minutes without dying? The answer is always no. So that I know what the training is elsewhere, especially in this area. It's all I need to know. So I make those people start from the bottom up, and if they're excelling, I'll push them. I'll move them along. But if they're not, I'm going to be honest with them, and I'm going to say, you were fucking swindled, my friend, and you were fucking sold a bill of goods, and here's exactly why. And I've had that happen, numerous times. Guys come in, oh, I was the fucking this guy over at that. I said, okay, go fucking wrestle with that guy for 5 minutes, and they just fucking eat his lunch, and he's fucking sitting on the wall, and it's all you need to know at that point.
That's what I will say. I at 44. I am, 2 years and 3 months in this recovery, AA recovery, right? And it was
that's awesome, dude. I got like fucking almost 20 years myself, so I'm proud of you, dude. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, thank you and congratulations. 20 fucking years. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Keep coming back, baby. But I will eat your fucking lunch at 44. I am 5'11" and a half. I wasn't given that other half inches. I'm 225 pounds, and I'm a pro wrestler, man. And I don't just mean I'm a pro wrestler like trained by Oliver John. You know what I mean? And
that's a fucking pedigree in and of itself, right there.
But people always say I train with Oliver John. I train with all. I'm like, Ollie will come on this program right now, and there's less than 2 handfuls of people that he will claim that he I wouldn't. Sorry, I'm going to take that back. I was coached by Oliver John. I was trained by Anthony Schizo Antonucci. I was coached by Oliver John. And there's a huge difference there. I always talk to people about this. The trainer, that's the boss man. He's the boss. He goes, hey, you, I want you to teach this guy this, and you're the crew leader, and I want you to put this team together and get this team to create productivity so I can make some fucking money. So I feel the trainer, he's the boss man, bro. The coach, that's your leader, man. He's the guy who's going to get you out there and get going. I feel like I'm just now, after all these years, falling into the boss role. Because I feel like I've always just been the leader, man. So, yeah, when it comes to eating lunch, man, I've spent 3 times a week enough getting the shit kicked out of me by Oliver John. It was funny because we were training at the Ugly Dojo the other day. We were doing a little seminar, and he was just fucking just destroying somebody, right? Like he picked the kid up and just picked him up and jumping pile drived him. And the kid didn't even post. And I was like, Ollie, what are you doing? He's like, I protected him. And I'm like, that doesn't fucking matter, bro. Come on. Easy on this. Because he gets excited. But he got in there with me and he started doing the old, and I'm defending. Because I know how to defend myself. I know that if the guy gets me in a headlock, I'm not just going to grab my hands around their fucking waist and do. I teach my guys, when you get pulled into that headlock, arm in on the right side of the bicep, so that way that you're giving the illusion the squeeze don't matter, and take your right hand on their rib cage and try to push yourself away from them as you're moving this. And why do we go to the clinch from there? We go to the clinch because I'm posing a threat to get out of this headlock. So you grab a clinch to read the why. That's what I want to know. I've been listening to you talk. I want to know 2 things here I heard in that last statement. I love everything you said. Yeah, I can tell when they walk in the building who they are. I can tell when they get up on the I don't need to see you lock up. I can watch your body language walking up to those ropes, how you walk in the building. I know what you're about. But my thing is, at your school, First off, you mentioned the smaller shows. We have that. We have a brand called Prospects for the younger guy, and then we're doing these little free Sunday night slams after Sunday training from 2:30 to 3:30. Hey, who's here? Crowd's going to show up. Free show, live reps. That's what I want to know right now. We talk about how you train. You never stop training, basics, fundamentals. But this thing right here is what kills most of these wrestlers nowadays. They don't have a clue what this is. Oh, I got this guy in a headlock. Oh, they're not making any noise. Mm-hmm. Well, they will. Trust me, they will. I was just going off on this program, and I completely spent 3 weeks at school on everybody's job on the hot tag. Because Babyface finally, or whatever he does, and the fucking idiot on the outside who's supposed to be the cheerleader controlling the crowd, he starts banging on the buckle. Dom, how long do you think we can keep these short attention span fans? Maybe 15, 20 seconds? Maybe. I saw it at class when I was doing the fucking drill. They got 5 claps in, and they knew they were supposed to clap.
Yeah.
And they got 5 claps in, and the guys were just like, I'm like, you guys quit on it. What do you think these fucking people are going to do too? So live repetitions, you said it. You said, I don't want you to be comfortable. Who gives a shit if this guy says I'm not going to bring you back? Because it's going to challenge you to work harder, to go somewhere else. And the thing what I love to hear about that is go in front of some people that don't know. Are you funny? Well, then don't invite your friends to the fucking comedy show. How important? Tell them, because they're watching this shit. They might be hiding and saying they're not, but they're watching this shit because I hear it everywhere I go. Tell these motherfuckers how important this on the live repetitions are. And I got a second question too. So the live reps is my first that I want to hear from you. And number 2 is, what is the importance in your training of the why we do this?
I think those two kind of coincide with each other, and to the first point, that's one of the hardest parts, I think, for especially young wrestlers, is keep these open. They're so ingrained on not fucking up. And I always tell them, you know what's coming next. Maybe. They don't fucking know anything that you and your little fucking homie back there fucking doing this for 15 minutes we're doing. Nobody knows that except for you two dumb fucks. So when it goes off the fucking rails, nobody knows it went off the rails unless you fucking sell it to them that it did. And that they're like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. It's things are going to get fucked up. You could be a year in, 20 years in, shit's going to get fucked up. It's how you react that means more than anything. The best safeguard for that is to listen and react to what's around you instead of going over your fucking move-to-move thing that you were going to do that nobody gives a fuck about most of the time. And, I'm sure you guys heard this analogy before. You and your buddy go, oh, we're going to do A, B, C, and D. All right, you go out there and you do A, and then they shit on B, and they're shitting more on C. You're going to fucking do D now? Like, no, your little book has to go out the fucking window until you get back on track. And, I try to challenge people, like, don't get so accustomed to fucking scripting or calling all your shit. Again, there'll be times when you may have to call certain things and stuff like that, of course. But you need to get comfortable in being able to react accordingly to whatever's going on around you. And I actually got this message from a student of mine. He used to be a student of mine. He's one of the guys that moved back east. And he's like, hey, we went out there on this show, and I was supposed to be the bad guy, and the other guy's supposed to be the good guy, and they just did not like me, and they loved him. And, like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, fucking listen to them, maybe, And I'm like, it turns out, it's like a spot show. It's a one-off. There's no story there. And it's like, you have nothing to lose at that point if you just flip it and give the people what they want, because they're telling you what they want. They're saying, no, I fucking hate you. I like that guy. Give me that. And on that type of show, give it to them instead of trying to, go against the grain and you're clawing uphill the whole time and they're not into it. Or they don't give a shit about it. They know you're playing a role. They know it's bullshit. And that's the biggest piece too. It's like the more you can listen, the more impressive it is when you can respond to the feedback that's given to you instantaneously. There's nothing like that, especially like in wrestling. You're getting instant feedback from people, whether what you did is good or whether it sucked a big fat dick. You got to react to that type of shit, And but you'll see people clam up and they're in the fucking hole and they're what's next, and this is gone. And once this is gone, like the people check out. And like you were saying, Zach, you're lucky if you could keep their attention for 15, 20 seconds, especially now. So you got to include them. You can't ignore them. And if they're making noise, you can't ignore them. Doesn't mean you have to feed exactly into everything that they're asking you to do, but be able to play along with them. And remember, at the end of the day, no matter what they're asking for, no matter what they're saying, at the end of the day, we're the ones that have the fucking strings in our hands. And the more we realize that, the more power we have. I see a lot of wrestlers treat that the opposite. It's the fans manipulate them into doing shit that they otherwise wouldn't do. And it's a give-take relationship with the fans. And it's, sometimes that's a hard one for people to kind of really grasp. After time, it gets a little bit easier. But the why, to that point of the question, my main example of that is we love wrestling. We, in our fucking wrestling bubble, we love wrestling, right? And the wrestling fucking fans love wrestling. For me personally, I'm always concerned more so with the guy outside the wrestling bubble. The guy that sits and flipping through the channels and sees Monday Night Raw and goes, that's fake. That's fake bullshit. I want to win that motherfucker over because I want his money. That's my goal. The wrestling fans are always going to be there. Like, I'm not worried about them. I want that fucking guy to believe in what I'm doing. So I always tell my students, I go, regular people shit on what we do all the time. And we don't do ourselves any favors, like we were talking about earlier. What do normal people mostly enjoy? UFC, right? We're not UFC. However, let's not rub people's fucking face in the fact that we're not. And to your, it's something as simple as you're in a headlock. Fight the fucking headlock instead of just, well, he's got me. I don't know what to do with my hands. If someone's fucking vice gripping you, what are you going to do? Try to fucking get out. It's like simple stuff like that. And I always try to bring it back to that. Why do we do that? Because if the regular person's watching, they're going to see that and go, that's fake. Why doesn't he just scoot his head out of that headlock that's got a million miles of fucking hole underneath? And just different shit like that. And I say it's like the why makes everything you do so much more valuable. You can do a vertical suplex for the fuck of it. Someone may fucking yay after you drop the guy. But if there's a reason why you do it, your reaction is going to be so much bigger. And it's going to have, what you guys were talking about earlier, so much more value to it. And everything we should be doing in there, if we're telling a proper story, there's always going to be a reason as to why we're doing each and everything to create more value for those individual situations and collectively the match itself, and hopefully collectively the show as a whole in and of itself, to hopefully make that person go, holy shit, that was fun. When's the next one? I want to come to that one. And when you start wrestling for the whys, you stop wrestling for yourself. And I think that's a good thing. Granted, you should wrestle for yourself to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, we can't be overly selfish and just say, this is mine and I want to do it this way. You can do that if you open your own fucking promotion and run your own fucking shows on your own dime, go right ahead. But when you're trying to build something for a bigger and greater cause, you have to have that why am I doing this in mind, and how is this going to benefit this match and this card as a whole to make us all, better in the long run.
It's team. That's what you mentioned earlier when you were talking about your school. It's a team, man. I got a team. I got such a good team going here that once me and Paul reconnected and we started talking every day, I was looking at Paul's team and I was like, hey man, there's some team members around that we gotta implement into place over here, and it's just all become one big team, and it's such a big area now because it's from Sacramento and I'm heading up towards the past the Redding towards Mount Shasta area, and then Paul's out here towards Winnemucca. And I heard someone say the other day to some of my students who went down to the Bay Area, they said, you guys are out on an island all by yourself. And I said, do I want to start up a fucking pizza place around 12 other pizza places? Or do I want to start 5 pizza places in 5 towns where there's no fucking pizza places?
Yep.
Because for me, I was talking to Adam Thornstowe for a while the other day, and we were talking about, man, could you imagine back when I met you at Cauliflower Alley, could you imagine then if there was this much wrestling going on, which I don't think is a good thing at all, but could you imagine if there was this much wrestling and this much access to get your shit out there? Because this is the perfect platform to actually kayfabe. This is the perfect platform to get real angles over, not go on there and go, hey, Johnny Dickhead, we had a great match last night, high five. And then these pro wrestlers, and some of them I respect, are fucking commenting. They are commenting like, so is there some bookings going on out here? Hey, what's going on with this? That was a great match last night. Like, who the fuck are you to tell me? Who the fuck are you to say you had a great match? You had a great match? Did you? Because if you did, you would know you had a great match. You don't need to say shit to anybody else because the house is up. Everybody's putting money in their fucking pockets and the social media is through the fucking. I don't need you to tell me you had a great match. Not at all. I don't want to know what the fuck you did great. I want to tell you what the fuck you did wrong. That's my big thing. When I ref these fucking Sunday shows, and I ain't playing with you. You're gonna see this new thing. It's a microphone, right? I'm gonna put a microphone and mic check myself for the next one, and because I'm in there, and this guy, he knocks the guy. I go body slam him. He slams him. I go come off the rope with an elbow. I go the fans can't see me, but I go hey, move out of the way, and he moves out of the way, and the guy starts really selling his arm, and the guy gets up like. The heel gets like, what do I do? And I'm like, his fucking arms hurt, dude. Put him in an arm bar. Okay. And then he gets down there, and the other guy starts doing this, and then he goes to get up, and I put my hand on his hand and as the ref and put some weight up, and I go, where the fuck do you think you're going, dude? Hot tag happened. Guys, I hate the hot tag. I think tag team wrestling blows serious nuts, dude, because these guys – they don't have a fucking clue. It's like, and then we turn into what I love to call, hey, hey, and then they come in and bump the guy. I'm like, dude, if you're not going to hit it at the pinnacle, don't do the tag yet. Just don't do it. Don't do it. And if you have more planned out in your match, but the crowd is fucking ready, please do not think that they want to see any more of your fucking bullshit. I'm going to let Paul go here. I think we're going to have to go a little longer. I'm going to redo this because trust me, brother, I can't stop now. You're saying too much good shit. But most importantly, man, what the fuck was I just going? I was just going off on some shit. We were talking about the fans coming up. What the fuck? You
were just talking about how you hate the hot tag. It's like that they don't understand that they're listening for the crowd to come up, and then that's when they should start moving. And and I know in the past you've talked about how I'm gonna go get my coffee, Paul. Yeah.
I hate to cut you off. I'm gonna get this coffee. It was Vince DeMarco told me this, and it was one of the greatest things I ever heard because I heard him saying it earlier. It's you got to know how to work before you can choreograph. And that's the fucking problem going on. I can get with Rick Luxury, my best buddy over here, legally blind, and me and him can choreograph an entire fucking match, and we're going to go out there and we're going to go, all right, is it time to do what we plan? Okay, cool. Let's do it. Okay, now let's let it settle because they're doing this. Let's take more. We know the adjustments. We know we're listening for the audience. So we could go A, B, C, D, and we have enough experience that we can manipulate and figure this out ourselves. The problem with these fucking kids is that these fucking kids don't even know how to work yet. And they're back here trying to fucking they got no ear for the audience. They're just choreographing fucking bullshit. And they're like, we've done this. Now this is next. I'm supposed to punch you 2 times. Hold on. I got to get more. We're going to go a little longer if you don't mind, Dom. I'm going to get more fucking coffee and get ramped up.
Let's do it.
I'm ready to fuck some shit up. Hold on.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So we, I was talking about earlier, Zack and I went to a show together and at one point he just stops talking completely and he just starts looking over the crowd of people who are all like, why we started laughing when you were doing the, because that was the sea of people that we got to see, all the dancing around, their choreographed stuff, they're choreographing their punches and everything like that, and we're just like standing over a sea of people watching this happen, and we're like, can you believe this? And then of course they go out into the ring and it's the same exact pace. There's no listen to the crowd, there's no anything like that.
No.
We commented on one of the matches in there about how they weren't waiting for the crowd to come up before the guy started working up, and I said it in front of one of Zack's students, and then he wrestled a little bit later on the show, and you could see it actually happen that the guy wanted to bring him up, and he was listening to the crowd, and he's like, not yet, right? So he's like, he's keeping the heel from bringing him up because he's like, the crowd's not with us yet. We can't go where we need to go yet. But yeah, it is absolutely it's just crazy to watch that we watch these guys put their match together, and then it's like they have to do it ABC and just go through the motions like that. Regardless of what the crowd sounds like.
And I always ask, like, how, like, it blows my mind, like, how long they go over that stuff for. And it's like the longer they go over it, I'm like, the less it's going to work, And we just did that. We had that show on 4th of July, and, we're in the building at like 2:00 for a 6:30 show. And like, everyone's doing that. And I'm like, it's fucking 3:00. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? And like, I actually did a wrestle on that show under a mask. And like, I was running the show and timing the show and calling the fucking sound guy and doing all this shit. And I'm like, it's like 2 matches before. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess we'll just like do this, and this. Cool. You know what I mean? Like, and it was with people I trusted that could pull that off with me. But I didn't need to like sit out there for 4 hours fucking in the ring too. Like, they think like that's a thing. Like, they got to be in the ring to like walk through all this shit, which I don't understand that. I mean, and I just feel like it's overcomplicating something that in theory and at its base level is like very simple. It's very simple. Wrestling is very simple. If you really fucking tear it down and peel the onion back, like, it's good versus evil, right? It's what's going to make the bad guy, people hate the bad guy, and what's going to make the fucking people love the good guy and want him to win. The moves are the fucking pepper and the salt and the bullshit on the fucking steak. The wrestling is the steak. That's what people are coming for. The story, the why, all that stuff. All that other shit is just extra. And I think people put too much focus on the seasoning instead of the fucking big slab of meat that they have. That's the most important thing, which is the why, tell the story, entertain the people, good versus evil.
Absolutely. Well, and to your point, at our last show, we had some people that didn't show up on time. So we had to completely switch a match and go, hey, you got 10 minutes till this match goes on. You guys are tagging against you two over here. And that was probably the best match on the card based off of the simplicity that you were just talking about. Like, you don't have enough time to go back there and choreograph a bunch of stuff that you're just going to mess up anyway, So So that match ended up being good.
That's a great point. Now that you mentioned that, like I look back at like my 20 or so years, and I really do think like some of my best matches were those matches, like the ones I didn't like put a crazy amount of fucking thought into, and I was just like, let's just go, let's just fucking go. And I'll give you a great example. This was years ago. So you guys know my tag partner Gallo. Me and him have been married for fucking 15 years or so as a team. We started wrestling against each other. We eventually started teaming together, but in our infancy, working against each other, the first time we ever worked with each other, it was because of an unforeseen circumstance. It's like, hey, we got to wrestle each other in 10 minutes, and we got to go like 30 minutes, and we just went out there, and it was like magic, right? And I was like, that's when we kind of established our friendship because we hardly knew each other at that point. And then from that point on, like anything that we did that was just, let's just fucking go. Whether it was as a team or if we were wrestling against each other, we made magic happen. And I remember there was one time we were scheduled to wrestle each other at Premiere. And Premiere at the time was fucking known for having really good fucking workers on that show. You know what I mean? Like your Jeff Cobb.
Was that Johnny LaRocca?
Yeah, John LaRocca's deal. That was, Cobb was on those shows, Thatcher, like those type of guys. So we overthought this fucking match on a 15-hour drive from Phoenix to San Francisco. And we're like, let's do this. And we wrestled for 15 to 18 minutes, and it was an absolute piece of fucking shit. And we just got done with it, and we're like, why the fuck did we do that? Like, why did we go away from what we know works, and that's trusting each other because we know what each other are capable of, but more so trusting each other in the ring to be able to like each other from a safety standpoint, but also like, I know if fucking Gallo calls something on the spot, we're good. And he knows vice versa. If Dom's calling this fucking spot in the ring, it's for a reason. And we got away from that. And I remember the drive home all the way 15 hours back, he's like, never fucking again will we do that. Never again. And we never did it again. And we actually ended up wrestling each other quite a few more times in singles after that. And we're like, nope, not doing that shit. And every time we wrestled after that, it was much, much better. I
had hands, bro. Me and Rick will do it too. I'll pick Rick up at the airport on a Thursday night or Friday, and the show's not till Saturday, and he don't leave till Monday because he lives in Missouri now. And
oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I bring him in 4 times a year, and he'll be here at my house. And one time last October, we were wrestling each other, and we said one last time, right? Which actually has worked well with story. It's one last time, and we sat here on the way back, for 2 or 3 days, man, we just sat here and we're like, let's do this, let's do that, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And luckily, like I said, we know how to work. So we were both like, okay, let's let it settle. We're a little older now, got to breathe.
Yeah.
Fucking Paul over here, me and my dad and I back in 2001 made the Reno Wrestle Factory, which was Coastal Pro Wrestling. We made him their first ring. So Adam and Luster and Malachi and Corey, all these guys started training with us for 3 months until, hey, you got that ring done? You got that ring? We're over here after hours on the old farm grinding this thing. So I hadn't wrestled in Reno. I mean, I went my whole career until recently, in the last couple of years, I never wrestled up there. And I got up there and I had a rude awakening at 40-something with the elevation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's my favorite. I always get in the ring and people think I'm old. I walk up to all four sides of the ropes and I push on the bottom and pull on the middle and okay, and I do that, and then I put my back in the corners, and then I run without hitting the ropes. I run across rope to rope without touching the ropes and corner to corner to see how the ring feels, and then I get out. My favorite thing is to see these young kids get in there, and they're like, oh, limber up that way, couple side lunges in. Woo! It's like, bro, you don't check your equipment before you go to work, man.
That's very true. One of the other things that I've seen this recently, And when I heard about it, and I was like, that can't be fucking true. And again, maybe I'm dating myself, maybe I'm dating us as being the old guys or whatever. But I know people that will, like, let's say, it's me and Paul are scheduled to wrestle in 3 weeks at some show. Me and Paul started chat and start calling the match in a fucking chat for 3 weeks before the show. And I was like, and I saw it, and I'm like, wait a second, this is a thing? And it blew my mind. And like, the other part of it, I get it, but it still kind of fucking irks me a little bit is when I get the, hey, do you know who I'm working on the next show? And I'm like, it shouldn't fucking matter. Like, I never gave a fuck who I was wrestling. And sometimes they didn't know until you show up. And like, I'm like, with that information, like, what are you doing with that? Are you reaching out to that person to call this thing, a month ahead of time? And I think it just shows how things have changed. And maybe there's that overthinking of something that should be very, very basic.
100%. What you got, Paul? You got anything else or what?
No, I mean, we were just kind of chatting about the, you talked about the tag match, and then we were talking about the choreography routines that we saw backstage at the one show, and then how, Jalen was listening so well about just not coming up till the crowd was coming up, and just things like that. I think we have those situations that you go, this person is taking it seriously because they're listening to all the critiques, not of their own match, of someone else's match, right? Hey, these older guys are giving these guys critique, and I'm going to listen, and I'm going to put it into play in my match on this same card.
That's one of the most fulfilling things for me as a trainer is when I'm watching a match and I see one of those younger wrestlers apply one of those basics that we talk about and hope they fucking catch, man. And you see something little like, the fucking heel loses his fucking shit because he can't, he hooks a pin on a guy and he can't beat this fucking pesky baby face and kicks out and he loses his fucking mind. And I'm sitting at the monitor. I'm like, please just fucking let this settle. And he just fucking. I'm like, thank you. That little bit of time that you're taking before you try to regroup to quote unquote figure out how you're going to beat that little fucker. That is more impressive to me than the fucking high spot that you have planned later on. I could give a fuck less about that. And it's just like, that's what those are the moments when I'm watching. I'm like, fuck yeah, he's starting to fucking get it, starting to click. Like those little things or the things that people perceive as little mean the most and can take a match so much further than some high risk move that someone's going to forget about in the next match when someone else does something similar.
That is the beauty, because we could show you all day. It has to click for you out there. I remember I always talk about it. It was JJ Perez at Gym Wars. And I went up to JJ at this point in my career, and I went to Corey. I went to talk about my match, and he fucking yelled at me and said, "Get the fuck away. I'll tell you the finish." And I was like, and we got in the ring, and I knew what the end was. I literally missed the clothesline, and I didn't know what was next. And I was the villain, and I missed, and I was stopped, and the crowd started laughing. And I was like, "What are you laughing at?" And they go, "Behind you." And I go, "Oh shit." And I turn around, and I see him waiting there for the old steamboat drag, which grab the collar or the back of the neck for these arm drags, ladies and gentlemen, and safely take a proper heel bump over the top. And I took a nice steamboat drag, and we hit, and the place blew up. And I started kicking my feet around, and I looked up at him, and I said, "Oh, shit, I get it." And he goes, "Well, you get what?" And I go, I got it, bro. I'm ready. And he goes, "What?" And I go, "Don't worry about it. I'll tell you later." But I got 3 different reactions out of the crowd. I missed the clothesline and was off balance, and they laughed, and I stopped, and I looked at them, and they were like, "Ha ha ha! Hey, behind you, dipshit!" And I'm like, "What?" And I lit 3 different noises, doing nothing really. All I took was a nice, simple heel bump, and I'll take those bumps all day, Dom. You want me to flip forward where my head doesn't have the risk of snapping back off the canvas,
Right?
All day long. That's my worry with Paul is, man, I know here soon by August, I'm going to have to take a 9-10 foot high school boy bump on that fucking choke slam. And I'm really hoping that he lets me take my own bump and brings me up and brings me straight down. Because these fucking morons out here who think throwing you across the entire ring is cool, understand this. I'm not supposed to fall this way. I am replacing my body, my back, with my feet when I take these snap bumps. So I'm going from here straight down. The more I tilt this way, the more real life is going to click in. And I'm not, even if I tuck my chin, it's going to be worse because I'm going backwards. My head's going to go gunk, gunk, off the mat. And here's another one. It's my favorite thing. And before we go, we have to get your new welfare. I want to know what's welfare this week. And I'm going to tell you a couple things that I think are welfare. Tornado DDT to the jumping in the water. Woo!
Yeah.
Completely welfare, bro. Completely fucking welfare. My thing is this, man. My thing is this. I wrote it down right here. You talked about watching from the monitor. So I would assume, as a fellow man who knows what's going on here, that you're producing and directing what's going on and controlling the musical cues to things that are going on so that we don't just have some fucking guy sitting at a table just mashing a button. You know what I mean? I think that the music in the that needs to be in the back. I've made that mistake 1,000 times. It's out there and you're like, play my fucking music. And this is the lights are out, whatever it needs to be.
Yeah. You got to have direct access to that guy. Yeah.
100%. And he should be right there watching on a monitor.
Yes.
The whole time. But I just figured this out after all these years. We always want to watch our own product. Well, if you're the promoter, the owner, the booker, whatever the fuck you call yourself, watch it from a distance. Watch it from behind the last fan. So that way you can see everything. You can tell if these fans in the back are playing on their phones or talking about an orgy or whatever they got going on.
That's a great point. And I'll say this. So at our shows, the person that runs my gorilla is Gallo. So he's the one that's the point man at Gorilla. I'm there with him, usually start of the match. But what I always like to do, I'm glad you brought that up, Zach. I always tell them, I go, hey, I'm going out in the people. I got to hear how they react to this. And I'll go into the crowd, and I'm usually standing behind the back row, especially when it's stuff that I may know. I want to see, hey, how they're going to react to this thing that we have going on. And that's when I know it worked. Or I go, that fart in church, or this guy's not connecting, or holy fuck, when did they start liking this guy? You know, like, to me, that's the most genuine gauge that you can tell what your audience is liking, not liking, what they're clamoring for, whatever it is. So I'm grateful I have Gallo in that position where he can kind of hold shit down there. And sometimes it's vice versa. But I love being out there, especially for those big moments where I can really figure out if that idea that I had in my head actually comes off the way I had imagined it or not. And it's the best, like I said, it's the most instant feedback you can have to make improvements, even as a promoter.
Yes, sir. That's the thing that trips me out the most is, Paul's got me. I got Paul when we're at our show. There's other guys that we delegate stuff. I have the people that I trust. I have the people when I'm coaching at training. I like to get people going. That's the one thing I notice. No matter if you have a good assistant trainer and it's somebody that there's not too many guys that know how to get everybody wrangled the fuck up on time in the ring and focused on what we need to do, man. Mm-hmm. I'll be, if I step away, I promise you this, even if it's just to go outside for a few moments, when I come back in, there's laughing, there's grab assing, all that shit going on in the ring. It loses its focus, man. And it really takes a lot. Like after all these years, I have people come up to me and they think it's easy to run a wrestling show. They think it's easy to run a wrestling school. They think this shit is fucking easy. And I say, well, do it. You know, over 2 years ago, when I kept hearing that voice, I was talking to a guy today about it, and it was like, bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. I went and I quit my fucking job, pulled my 401k out. I was like, I'm tired of wasting this time. I'm going to take a chance on this, a real chance. And if I can't do this, then I'll go back at 50 and sit in some receiving fucking warehouse listening to fucking Jelly Roll. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Jelly's on tonight. And he's fucking. I'll do that, man. But you got to take a chance on yourself. And that sound I heard, that soothing sound, bet on yourself. We hear things. We feel things in our gut. I was telling Paul the other night, I don't give a fuck if every person in the world tells me I can't do it and my vision's not real. I believe in myself, man. Yeah. And at the end of the fucking day, I am not doing this for instant gratification. I'm doing this for longevity, for the long haul, for immortality. I'm doing this for legacy. I know that by the time this company is going to do something, I'm going to be dead in the dirt 50 years later, and the name PCW is going to be on the fucking marquee up there. And they're still going to say, and just the mention 50 years later of Zack Reeb, because that's all we really want, right? When we think about it, we just want to leave any type of impact on the rest of the world, and hopefully in a positive way. We don't want to leave the old Charles Manson type impact on the world that way. But brother, it is. I don't know, Paul. Do you got anything else? I want to definitely. We got to bring it back, man. This was the best one we've ever done. I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
I would love to. I would love to. And if I could just say one last thing, because I think what you just said, Zach, that was very that hit home. It's just that I'm trying to leave something. It's the cliche, leave wrestling better than you found it, right? And I think that is a good thing to do. I'm trying to create something not just for now, but for generations, if possible. Yes. Well, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It may not be where I see it until I'm fucking long and dead and gone, and that's okay. But at least it has my DNA in it, man. And you have to be willing to bet on yourself, whether you're a trainer, promoter, or a wrestler, for that matter. And for me, and maybe this is a fucked up way to look at shit, dude, I run on fucking spite, man. If someone tells me I can't fucking do it, I'm going to shove it up their fucking ass to make sure I do it and go, there you go. And I've had a lot of people, over the past 7.5 years, try to tear me down and what we're doing down and go, oh, that's this, that's that. Okay, motherfucker, let's take a look. We'll see. And every time I shove their fucking face in it, and I'm going to continue to do it because I know we're doing it the right way. And we're setting it up. Yep, exactly. And we're setting it up for the next person or group. When I'm ready to fucking move on and ride off into the sunset, there's someone that's well equipped to take over and carry it on out.
Well, you said it. I love when people actually criticize me. When I look at them and go, you're not even in a toot the own fucking horn way. You're not on my level, dude. Yep. You haven't been where I've been. You haven't put in the work I've done, and you're not putting in the work that I'm still fucking putting in. I had to tell my 19-year-old student the other day, this kid's a monster. He lives around the corner. I said, hey, you are working harder than everybody, but that's because I pick you up every morning and we go to the strength gym. So I'm picking you up and I'm kicking you in the fucking ass because you wouldn't do it your fucking self if I didn't do it. And I said, you're working just as hard as me at almost 45. But you are not working as hard as I did when I was coming up in the business. Mm-hmm. You're just not working as hard, man. And you said it right there. Knock me down, bro. I failed when I started this as a senior project at 17 with my parents' help. A fucking first year in the business, I wrote a $3,000 hot check because I didn't know what my fucking fictitious business statement I don't even think it was an LLC back in 99. My parents were like, why did you write a check for $3,000? I said, well, I had to pay for this show. They said, son, you didn't have the money in the bank. I'm like, oh no. And you know what they did? They fucking bailed me out. So I've been failing since I was 17, man, before I was even an adult. I'll fail all day. Knock my ass on the ground, man. I'll lose all my fucking money. I'll live under the bridge. And then I'll wake up the next day and they'll be like, hey, man, you lost all your money last night. What are you going to do? I'm like, oh, what's next?
I'll figure out a way.
I can make more money. Money's materialistic, man. It's a currency. We can always make more money. We can't get our fucking time back.
There you go. Yep.
And you just said it. I know I'm going off about what you just said, but man, what you just said, in spite. I love it when someone says so, and they don't have the resource, the experience, or the will to. You can't prove me wrong because how are you going to prove somebody wrong who actually knows what to do? Because you just, oh God, you said it, man. I love it. Or
that's actually doing it. All right, motherfucker, you can do it better? Do it. I dare you because I put my fucking money where my mouth was and I'm delivering. What about you? What the fuck are you doing besides this? Send. Fuck off.
my favorite was the 3D. We got some videos I wanna send you, man. We're gonna send you. No, I'm not playing, man.
I'm always looking for content, so go for it.
Once we get the production of this thing down, there needs to be a segment where we talk about some of this. A new Botchamania type segment, but I loved watching the God, I don't know if it was the Spanish fly or whatever they call it on your video. The guy lands on his fucking head. Yeah. And then that 3D, that was someone local too.
That's what Paul was telling me. Yeah.
It's a NorCal. Yeah, NorCal guys.
That dude just standing there. He's like, get off. That's how I push you off the ropes. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then he stayed up. Like he had no bend in his knees or his waist.
It was the perfect description. It's like, this looks like a guy that doesn't want to take a back bump himself. So he's like, just hold the guy up. Then you grab his head and you just drive it into the mat.
People making comments like, oh, well, the one guy didn't do this and the other guy didn't do that. I go, it is way deeper than that. Like, they don't know what they're doing from a base level. Like, that's the least of their worries. Like, we're trying to get way too deep in the weeds on it. Like, it's not that complicated. It's much more simpler than that. The fact that they just shouldn't be there doing this at all.
All right, let's see real quick how quick-witted we are. And I'm going to start it out. Welfare. If you buy your wrestling boots during the month of October at the Halloween store and they have zippers on the side, that's welfare.
Yes. Using the line, I'm coming to make a statement in your promo. Welfare.
I don't have anything, but I will listen for you guys. It's always entertaining to see what you guys are talking about.
Coming out the curtain and yelling the name of the town, that's welfare. Let's go, Yuba City!
Speaking of the curtain, looking out the curtain like where everybody can see you. Welfare.
Oh,
just fucking walk out. God damn it. Walk into the crowd if you have to. I can go for days.
Walking into the bathroom when the fans are in there in your wrestling gear.
Yeah.
That's welfare.
Yes, very much so. Which kind of goes back to, alleyway locker rooms. Welfare. Piss buckets in the locker room. Welfare.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, one of my favorites I used to do to Rick, and we'll close her out here. And it used to be a thing in the locker room. I don't really care what anybody thinks of me. I don't really care. They know that I am very inappropriate. Two things I used to do to Rick for ribs, man. One, I used to always take his water bottle and take the top off it, put my dick head on the tip of it to suction cup, and then lean it back and lean it forward, and then I would put the lid back on. So every time Rick would set his water bottle down, I would always open it up and just like, okay, there you go. Enjoy water the rest of the show. I know you're going to get thirsty. And number two, when we would be at bigger venues and Rick needed to go to the bathroom, I would always guide him into the women's restroom because he couldn't see. So a lot of good ribs on Rick Luxury, man.
Oh yeah, especially I know Rick can't see too well. Neither can Gallo. Well, before Gallo, he used to have really bad eyesight till he got it fixed. So I was like his seeing fucking eye dog. He'd be like, once he's like this, I'm like, someone's walking toward, hey, what's up, guys? And he's like this. I'm like, that's so and so from so and so. He's like, okay, thanks. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You said one more thing. Let's just go an hour 30, man. I got so much more I want to talk to you about, brother. You are so like-minded, but you've said a lot of stuff that's really I'm gonna like say a couple of these things to my fucking guys.
Likewise for sure.
You were talking about, oh God, fuck, I hate it when I brain fart sometimes, but you were saying something. And I was talking about, you were talking about earlier about the training, and you don't make these wrestling training clips, right?
Yeah.
And I'm with you on that. I had back in the day one of the students say, Rick wants me to record what you're doing at class and send it to him so he can see. I said, well, first off, he can't fucking see, right? It's the guy doesn't go watch movies. He pays money to go listen to the movie happen. But I'm like, I could go on the internet, which a lot of it's wrong, by the way. Like, nice drill you're teaching. Do we know how to get into that situation or where to go after? But you could watch me do this all day and I could explain it to you. Unless you're in the ring with me, you don't know why the fuck I'm doing this. You don't know. You don't know the why. You don't know why I'm showing this or what's going on. And if you've never done it before, what I'm doing, you can't just watch and go, oh, headlock. Oh. Yeah. Because if you knew what you were doing, you wouldn't put your dick to their ass on a fucking hammer lock. You know what I mean? That's my favorite. In closing, that's my favorite. It's like, I already lost the match right here because you have control of me. Yeah. Why are these guys in such a fucking hurry to lock up? Yeah, they're like, ding, ding, ding. Yeah, I'm in such a hurry to fuck up, and I tell these guys like, hey, if I'm wrestling someone green, I saw a kid the other day when I was reffing, he was like hyperventilating and shaking, and I'm like, hey man, take a deep breath. What's up, huh? You gonna wrestle this guy, or you want him to attack me from behind? Attack me from behind. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll go tell him that. But I don't know when I move this guy around. I'm listening first to the crowd. This guy might be fucking stiff and nervous. So let me get him to the ropes and feel where we're at here. And most importantly, and I'll stop my fucking rant. What if a lot of times it's an inexperienced referee. We don't got Sparky Ballards and Tom Casters all over the place. What if the referee is new and I get the guy back to the rope and he's just standing over there staring at me? Now I gotta go, fuck, man, hold on. All right, I'm gonna slow this down because I got this fucking idiot over here. I'm gonna have to take him through what we're doing in the ring and you. Or maybe I get you back to the ropes and this referee surprises me and he runs over there and he's in position and he's ready to be there. I don't know what's going on, so I have to feel the process out. Yeah, because
we can do 30 minutes on referees, I think, alone. But yeah, like the training stuff, like I'll post clips, but it's all action clips, like people like just fucking like creaming each other and doing shit. Not like, oh, this is how you grab the fucking, like, because you can watch every fucking how-to video in the world. That doesn't mean you can apply it. And again, this is another thing we could talk about another time. Seminars. People send their resume with how many fucking seminars they did. Dude, just because you went to a seminar doesn't mean you fucking comprehended anything or can apply that. So I don't give a fuck about how many seminars you did. And it's the same thing. Well, I watch a lot of wrestling videos and how-to videos, and I'm like, I don't care because none of that's applicable. until you get in here, and you'll learn very quickly that none of that shit matters until you actually have real life application.
A pro can execute what the promoter tells them to do.
Bingo.
That's all we're doing, really. And is that we'll leave it on execution. Dom, man, this was a great surprise for me, man, because when I saw that extra motherfucker, I thought for a second when I saw it spinning, I saw you, I was like, oh yeah, fucking get my coffee. I'm gonna need 2 cups today. And then I saw the wheels spinning again because there were 2 of them. I'm like, we got a fucking 4th on this motherfucker.
Didn't even need the 4th, man. I covered for both.
Oh, I know, man. Anything you'd like to get over on this, man? And
yeah, man, just follow at PCWAZ, Phoenix Championship Wrestling, on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to hear me talk a lot of shit, like our boys Zack and Paul here, follow me at Dom Vitalli on Instagram. That's where I do most of my stuff, and I'll share it to Facebook as well. Just like the videos, share them along, comment, help push the algorithm so more people see what can be good about wrestling and what's wrong with it and how to fix it.
Oh, 100%. And you know what? I know Paul is definitely, when it comes to booking, I think it's time to get some of your guys down this way. We'll have a weekend full of bookings, and then I got like 30, 40 students as well.
Whew.
Get these guys down your way. Even if we're going down there and they're watching a different promotion or setting up a ring, man, I am 100%. 781 days ago, I feel like pro wrestling got a little bit better because I pulled my head out of the gutter and I quit deep throating that Jack Daniels bottle. Paul, you got anything closing out here?
Oh, no, that's it, man. That's a fucking great podcast. Appreciate you, Dom, for jumping on, man. So we got to definitely do this again.
Awesome. Anytime, guys. Thanks again. I appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you. And if you motherfuckers out there think that we're talking about you, I mean, we're probably fucking talking about you. So for Dom, you got to
ask that question. I always say that. If you wonder if it's about you, it probably fucking is.
Oh, it is 100%. Yeah. For Dom Vitalli, for Wrecking Ball, Paul Isadora, and Zack Primetime Reeb, hit that fucking subscribe button, guys. If you ain't hitting that subscribe button, I want you to know if you're out there hating, it's cool because you are my biggest fan, our biggest fan, and you just don't fucking know it yet. You don't know it yet as you're sitting in your bathroom jerking off to a Zack Primetime Reeb podcast. You hear my voice when you go to sleep. Hit that subscribe button. For Dom, for Paul, for Zack, motherfuckers, we're going the fuck over.